Hello Gemini, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we'll be looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section will be looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you are a cross watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading, booking a personal reading or coaching session with me, or on my upcoming Attract the Love That You Deserve workshop can be found in the description box below. All right, Gemini, let's jump on in. We're going to start with overall energy through oracle cards first. So we're going to look at your energy toward the connection, their energy toward the connection, and the energy in between the connection with oracle cards, and then we'll dive deeper into the reading with tarot as we progress. But let's first start with your energy toward the person you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. This is for Gemini's side of this connection. Gemini's side of the connection. Maybe. There it is. Money versus love right out of the gate. I don't ever see this card as straight up money versus love. And then grief and sadness. However, oh goodness, and separation. However, I do kind of see it as like unbalanced priorities. And I feel that this is how you view this person. I feel like you see that they are prioritizing things that maybe don't align with what's best for them. Maybe they're prioritizing kind of ego-driven desires and not as much like heart-driven ones. And I feel that that has left you in this grief and sadness energy. It feels like it just in general kind of feels as if you are watching them make decisions that don't align with them, but also ultimately don't align with the connection. And I think that that has made things really hard for you across the board, because I do feel that you see a lot of potential here, and you see that like, okay, maybe if things like if this person would choose different things, then it would be good. But I also feel as if you're struggling here with not feeling like just wondering why you weren't chosen, because that's what it feels like. It feels like you weren't chosen in some way by this person. This person's energy toward you. But let's see. Let's break this down a little bit more. Follow your heart. See, this is what they're not doing. Sparks. Because the sparks card to me is like a spark that never fully became a flame. So I feel as if this person, it's like they walked away before even giving this connection a chance in some way, shape, or form. Like whether they walked away just straight up from the connection, or they started pulling away before allowing the connection to evolve. But yeah, and I think that let me keep going here. I don't want to jump to conclusions. All right, truth of the connection here between Gemini and this person. connection, see, I think that what's hard is you knew and felt that there was a really strong connection here, but it just feels like this person, then the dead end. And then interference, something interfered, or you see something as interfered with this. Because they walked away before giving it a chance. Dead end. But the connection, I don't know, it just feels like it's strong, it exists. And I think that, I feel like you're in a really confused place with this, because you're like, why, if there's so much potential here, like, why didn't you give this a chance? Because I feel that they feel that potential too. And maybe they think they're following their heart, but I don't feel like they are. I feel like they're following their ego. We'll see. We'll get more on all of this. Overall theme of this between you and this person, Gemini. You love me, someone better with second option. This is what it feels like, you were treated like an option in this. And I don't know, this person might not have walked away. Like in the end, like you might have felt like an option and you were like, I'm not dealing with this. And I don't know necessarily which side of that you fall on. Either you walked away because you felt like you had no choice, or they did. I feel like this person does care about you. But this someone better card is interesting. This isn't about them finding someone better. This is about you finding someone that chooses you. Because anything that doesn't choose you was never meant for you in the first place. Now, that doesn't make it hurt any less. But I don't know. I just feel as if I'm confused by this energy right now. I will get clarity as we continue to pull, so just give me a second. Let's just see what we got going on here. Gemini side of this, grief and sadness, money versus love. This is where we can start to tie it all together here. So Gemini, let's look at your energy toward the person you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. I feel like you're confused, I'm confused, everyone's confused. Gemini side of this connection here. Sun in reverse. Three of Swords. Nine of Wands. Okay. I feel like you had a certain perspective of like where this connection was at and where it was going. And I feel that you saw and like felt really good about the direction that it was headed. So I feel like it feels like you were blindsided in some way. Now, what's interesting about this is this Nine of Wands energy. Because I feel as if you, from the beginning of this, it feels as if you were, like, get this, like, skeptical or, like, cautious energy. Like, it felt too good to be true. There was so many, there's such a strong connection here. I mean, just look at this. It's like, I don't know, like, kind of ready to defend yourself, not really knowing what's going to happen. But I feel like overall, like, you had a lot of hope for how things were going to unfold. So like I said, like, it feels like this person's energy was, or the decision that they made, because I feel like there was a decision involved. I don't know. It feels like it very much blindsided you. because you felt like they were in it just as much as you were. Interesting. Okay, hang on. I want more here. Gemini side of this connection. Three of Pentacles, the Empress. Something did get in the way of this connection expanding. It feels as if this, and I said this from the very beginning, but it feels as if this person made a decision that didn't align with the connection, right? To choose, but something that didn't really align with them either, it feels like. Now, this Empress card is this energy that you showed up with. I feel like you really showed up with this in the best way that you knew how. And I think that what hurts the most is feeling as if you kind of gave it your best shot and feeling as if it still wasn't enough. There could have been, like, there's this feeling of rejection. Like, why wasn't I enough? Why didn't you choose me? Why didn't you prioritize me? Like, it feels like that's there. But I feel like there's more to this story. I feel like there's something you're missing. Because it feels like I kind of hear Spirit saying, you got it all wrong. It wasn't about you never being enough at all. Hang on, I want to clarify. It's the Ace of Cups. I want to clarify this real quick. The Two of Wands. Because it feels like you had so much, like, certainty about where this could potentially go. So I think what blindsided you the most is you felt like you guys were on the same page. And then they made a decision that just, like, totally... I don't know what happened here. Maybe you know. I mean, I'm sure you know. You lived it. But I think, like I said, we're going to get the clarity. We're going to get the clarity, so just bear with me as we keep going. I feel like what I need more than anything, because it's like, I'm reading what happened. You already know what happened and how it affected you. I want to know what their energy is saying here, because that can help me kind of get the full picture on what really went down, because it feels like you really got your heart broken here. This person's energy toward you sparks with follow your heart. Is that in reverse? It is. Okay, there's the Three of Pentacles. Justice in reverse. Karmic. They chose a karmic path. This person's energy toward you. King of Wands, King of Swords. This could either be your energy or you're dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or King of Wands. It could be fire sign energy, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. It doesn't have to be either, but I like to call them out as I see them. This person is very like, what's the best way to put this? Very stubborn. In a lot of ways. Like, that's what I'm gaining from this energy. Just very stubborn and very, like, unable to kind of see outside of their own perspective. But from the outside looking in, because I don't know what decision they made. They chose a karmic path, and that could look like anything, right? It could be a karmic relationship. It could be a karmic path in a career. I mean, it could be literally anything. But this karmic path, it's something that like they're so stubborn about, but from the outside looking in, it's very obvious that it's not right for them. And I said that at the beginning. It was like they feel like they're following their heart, but they're not actually, this person's energy toward you, doing that. Because more fire sign energy. Queen of Wands with the Four of Cups. They are not at all seeing things clearly. It feels like well, okay, where is this Four of Cups stemming from? That's what I want to know. Because to me, this energy is really saying like the moon, where is it stemming from? Fear, okay. It's like they missed out on something really that could have been really amazing. Like there's a deep connection here. You showed up with that Empress energy. You had so much love to give. You were ready to kind of like, you know, be kind of a ride or die person for them. Like I feel like you were really in it. And they just like didn't choose it. And it's almost like the choice was obvious in a way, but they made the decision that aligned most with their fear. Which, when we make decisions that align most from fear, we make the decisions that align most with what allows us the most control. And this goes back to the money versus love at the very beginning, because that's like deep, genuine connection over like surface level, right? Surface level, ego-driven desires. It's like you really represented something very real for this person, and I think that brought up a lot of fear for them. So they chose the path that didn't require them to grow, expand, evolve, like face those things. They chose, I mean, the road most traveled is what it feels like here. They chose the path that is most often chosen, even though, you know, choosing this connection to develop this would have been something that was very much in alignment with what they actually wanted. So it's their behavior is confusing because they're so detached, I feel like, from themselves that I don't even know if they realize what's going on here, that's what a karmic path is all about, is, you know, we have to walk it because there's something for us to learn. And then we learn what we need to, and then we become aware of the path, and then we don't make those decisions again, or we do if we don't learn the lesson. But you know, karmic paths are typically very rooted in fear and ego, and I said that from the very beginning. That's what Spirit's saying. It was never about you not being enough at all. It was the opposite. It's almost as if you align so much with, I'm keeping these out to the side for some reason. I don't know why. With like depth and like it's real, it's genuine, which anything real and genuine, it forces you to you know, break down the ego, see past it, make more heart-centered decisions, things like that. And when somebody is, you know, operating so much from fear, they're going to make the decision to choose what is aligned with like what they've always experienced. So if someone has never experienced like true, genuine, like deep, real connection, they're always going to choose the connections that are surface level. They're easy. They don't require them to grow or to be, you know, more or better than they are. And that actually is like working against them because the very thing that they desire. It's like, if, what is an analogy for this? It's like you can want something, but then take the very wrong path to get there. And that's what it feels like. I can't think of an analogy. Nothing came to mind. So I took that as this person's energy toward you. So, I mean, that's runner energy in action, right? Someone who is running not from you, not from the connection, but from literally Wheel of Fortune. Both of these cards. Sorry, I keep cutting myself off because I'm trying to uncover this. What I was going to say, it's not about running from you. It's about running from themselves, running from growth, running from facing themselves, running from, fear of vulnerability, things of that nature. Surface level is just easier. It's very unfulfilling, and it's very short-lived, but it's easier. The Fool with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. It says, again, another like karmic path kind of indicator here. And look at where this is leading. Is this Ten of Swords. But they have to reach this Ten of Swords to learn whatever lesson this is about. Okay, so I think I've got what I need to know here. Well, let me pull. Is there one more card that I need? As soon as I tried to put that deck away, it was like, they're breaking their own heart. They're breaking their own heart and playing it safe, literally. So it's like they chose this path that didn't align with what it is they ultimately desired, but aligned with their fear, aligned with control, right? And that goes back to surface level connections being easier. Is real genuine connection will cause you to be vulnerable. It'll cause you to learn to trust, to face past trauma and triggers, and to grow and to evolve, right? All healthy connections require you to do that. Surface level connections or surface level situations don't require you to do that. They require you to do quite literally nothing. That's why they're surface level. And this person is making decisions that and this is where it's going to end up. We saw the Ten of Swords. We saw the Three of Swords. Because they're playing it safe and choosing what doesn't serve them, none of this has anything to do with how they feel about or see you or your value. In fact, I actually feel like it's the opposite. I feel like you made this person feel uncomfortable, not intentionally, but because you brought so much of what they desired into their life. And it was almost as if they felt that they couldn't have it, so they sabotaged it or pushed it away instead of actually giving it a chance to grow. Surface level connections are easier because you're not afraid to lose them. It's like you look at them as replaceable. It's right. It's like, if I'm not super invested in this, it doesn't really matter if it ends, and therefore, but this connection was different for them. But that's the whole reason as to why the decision they made was so blindsiding to you, was because the feelings were real. Their decision to run from it had literally nothing to do with you at all. And I think that that's what Spirit was saying by, you're looking at this all wrong. Now, every relationship is a mirror of ourself in some way, shape, or form, right? And the thing is, people can only meet us at the level of depth in which they've met themselves. They can only love us to the extent they've learned to love themselves. They can only show up for us to the extent in which they've learned to show up for themselves, right? And that's their journey. But there's always another side to cycles, and I feel like Spirit's trying to direct your attention to what this is representing for you and your growth and your healing journey. Because the good news is, okay, and here's what's really important, is rejection is protection. Anything that doesn't choose you is showing you that it isn't capable of being what you deserve, that it doesn't align with what you deserve. And when we are willing to look at things that way, instead of taking it personally, which of course it's personal, it's a personal relationship, but if we look at other people's inability to meet us where we deserve to be met, or to show up for connections in healthy ways, and therefore they run or whatever, if we look at that personally, we're going to say they're running because I'm not good enough. They're running because I don't bring enough value to the table. They're choosing this because this is better than me, and that's not at all the case. This was nothing, you could have shown up as the most perfect version of yourself, which you don't need to be the most perfect version of yourself to be loved, okay? But you could have shown up as the most perfect version of yourself, and they would have done the exact same thing, because it never had anything to do with you not being enough. You could be the most attractive, most successful, most wonderful person in the world. they were still going to do this, not because it has anything to do with you, but because they're going to always choose what doesn't require them essentially to be vulnerable, to face their fear, especially if there's fear of rejection or fear of not being good enough, right? Ego will always protect from insecurity. So if they're, and that's actually where ego stems from. We think like egotistical people are really full of themselves. Well, they're actually very deeply insecure. Egotistical people had to build an identity to protect themselves from that insecurity. So the reason that ego makes decisions that avoids insecurity is because the ego is trying to protect from insecurity altogether. So if somebody doesn't feel good enough for love, or doesn't feel good enough for you, or doesn't feel worthy or deserving of what it is you have to provide, they're going to make a decision to not give that a chance to grow, because it's easier than having to face the insecurity, right? Like when you get into any healthy connection or any relationship, there's going to be fear of abandonment. There's going to be triggers. There's going to be insecurities. Those things are naturally going to arise. And your ability to actually build genuine healthy connections is going to depend on your ability to face those things and not run from them or avoid them. So this person is at a place in their life where they are not capable of being what it is that you deserve, of showing up for you in the way that you deserve. And here's the thing here. It was never about you not being good enough for them. It was them not being good enough for you, them not being able to be what you need and you deserve, which is why you have this someone better. Because this is about you finding somebody, you attracting somebody who is. However, anytime we are dealing with, connections like this, we have to ask ourselves the question of, what attracted this into my life? What is this trying to teach me? How is this trying to help me heal? What is this trying to help me see so that I can attract healthier, more aligned connections into my life? And that's where we have to start looking at the mirrors. We have to look at the mirrors of, if somebody else isn't meeting us where we deserve to be met, how are we not meeting ourselves there? Which we're going to explore all of that in the extended. You have dead end with connection. I'm going to hop on over to that. We're going to look at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So I'm going to pull tarot diving deeper, and then I've got an advice card to pull at the very end. One thing that I want to mention before hopping on over to the extended is my upcoming How to Attract the Love That You Deserve workshop, coming up on February 20th at 6 p.m. Central Time. It is a live workshop. However, if you cannot make it live and you still wish to be a part of it, if you purchase a ticket, you will receive the replay and all of the materials the very next day. So any information for that is at the very top of the description box. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or drop me a comment. That email address is in the description box below as well. Otherwise, thank you so much, Gemini, as always, for your support of me as a reader and my channel. I obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.